What's up guys, Technobo here for Server Pro and welcome to this tutorial for installing and using Ultimate Claims. Ultimate Claims is an easy-to-use chunk claiming plugin that requires items for upkeep. Upkeep time keeps the chunks claimed, and as soon as the items are used up, the chunk is no longer protected. The Ultimate plugins install a little bit differently to the usual. Head over to the Songoda page for Ultimate Claims. Click the download button right under the project's icon on the left. Then head over to the Files section on your Server Pro dashboard, open the plugins folder, and click the upload button. Then upload the jar file we just got from Songoda. Then all we need to do is a simple restart. The plugin requires Vault, holographic displays, and an economy plugin of your choice. I'll be using Sane Economy. You can see what plugins you already have installed by going to the Install tab under Plugins. The plugin is super easy to use once it's set up. The plugin's main command is /ucl or /c. These both show us a list of all of the plugin's commands. Each command has a short description explaining exactly what it is and how to use it. So let's start basic. Claiming an area. We'll simply run /c claim. This returns a message in chat asking us to create a power cell. This is where the claim's upkeep items will be stored. We use /c recipe to see how to create one. Simply 4 diamonds and 5 iron. You don't craft this in a crafting table, instead you just place these items in the center of a chest inside your claimed chunk. After closing the chest, we see in chat that we have successfully created a cell. Use /c show to see the area that the power cell is claiming. Hitting F3 and G, you can see the chunk borders and it's claiming just one chunk. Upkeep time remaining can be seen above the chest. Opening the chest, we can add or remove upkeep. 1 iron adds 30 minutes, and 1 diamond adds 2 hours. You don't have to separate these items, they can of course be stacked. The chest has a few more buttons. The top left lets us type a number in chat and deposit an in-game currency. 100 is equal to 1 minute by default. Then we also have a few more buttons where we can manage the claim further. Bans shows us the ban list. Settings shows toggles like fire spread, leaf decay, hostile mob spawn, and more. Visitor settings has toggles for players who are not members of your claim. Toggle place, break, doors, and more. Member settings contains the same settings as visitors, but if a player is a member of this claim, this rule set will apply instead. Going back, we have a book that we can hover over for info. Then we have members, where we can see visitor and member settings again at the bottom, as well as a list of all of the members of this claim. We have sorting and filters at the very top. Let's add a member to our claim. Teleporting an alt into our claimed area, they appear on the members section where we see some info of the players in the area. I'll use /c invite followed by a player's name. They'll get a notification asking them to become a member of our claim. The other person simply runs /c accept to join the claim members. Once they accept, they will have the member rules of our claim that we just defined earlier. We can use /c kick followed by a name to remove this player later. They are not removed from the area, however. We can use /c ban followed by a name to stop them entering our chunks entirely, and C unban followed by a name to allow them back in again. Before we get into interesting things like setting a home, let's give this claim an identifiable name. Using /c name followed by a name, we can name our claim. Otherwise, it'll just be your name followed by claim. You'll see why in a moment. When we enter and leave the claim, we'll see a notification on screen as well with our name. There's also /c set home and /c home followed by the name of your claim that you want to travel to. We can use the autocomplete for the name, but I remember calling it test, so /c home test. Now that we've claimed our chunk, it's apparent just how small it is. To claim more area, we can travel to an adjacent chunk and run /c claim to claim another chunk. If we no longer want a chunk, we can use /c unclaim, but note that when we do claim another chunk, the upkeep becomes more and more expensive, requiring more items or currency in our claims chest. From 1 to 2, the cost is doubled, so our upkeep time is halved. Each one from here on will linearly make it more expensive, hence lowering the upkeep time, requiring more materials. /c lock toggles whether the claim is locked. This stops visitors from entering. /c dissolve removes all of your claims and drops existing items out of the upkeep chest. Using /c leave followed by a claim's name removes us as a member of that area. Then we have some admin commands. /c admin remove claim removes the claim that you're standing in. /c set spawn sets the spawn point for members who are banned from chunks and moved out of the area. /c settings opens the plugin's setting GUI. As with these ultimate plugins, almost everything is customizable easily through the in-game GUI. We have books, which are different files, and once a file is opened, we see different sections from inside. Inside each section, we have a few settings and toggles. Simply clicking on these settings either toggles them or asks you for input in text chat. Because there are a lot of settings here, I'll be going through what each of these do in the next section, where we edit the config through the plugin's files. If we do that, we'll have to use /c reload to reload the plugin settings from the config. Locate the config in the plugin folder. In the Ultimate Claims folder, we have a DB file that contains claim chunks and more. The plugin uses this file, but of course we can set up a MySQL server instead in the config. The locales folder contains different language files that are just plain text. These allow for localization of the plugin. The config.yml file contains all of the plugin settings. These are what we saw in-game. As with all of the Ultimate plugins, it's incredibly well documented, where each setting has an explanation above it. The file is divided into sections: main on line 1, interfaces on 73, system on 81, din map settings on 87, and MySQL settings on line 106. Under main, we can change the recipe and change the amount of time that different items reward us. Of course, you can enter your own items here and values to keep the power cell charged for longer or shorter. Then we have the economy and hologram plugin settings, where we can define other plugins for Ultimate Claims to use if you're using anything different. We can even display a boss bar with the claim's name when a player is in it. We can disable the plugin in certain worlds and change the max number of chunks or members a claim will have. Interfaces simply contains the spacer items that surround the power cell's inventory. System has just the language selection, where English is the default. DinMap contains DinMap settings, but it can be ignored if you're not using that plugin. Finally, we have MySQL, where you can enter server details for a MySQL server with a plugin to use that instead of the local file. Server Pro provides you with a MySQL database on our Pro plans. Anyways, I hope this tutorial was helpful. If you have any video suggestions, leave them in the comments below. If you're having issues with anything, contact our support team. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Ciao!